Hi, this is Kelly. Welcome to my channel. Today we have movie monsters. DIY number 1, Frank. I'm sure you've guessed who that is. So we've got this Frankenstein monster looking dude just shuffling along. And I had split it in half to make it big enough to fit this sign and printed it in 2 pieces. And I've thrifted this sign. I'm going to paint the entire thing in Waverly Truffle, which is like a chocolate brown color. And you'll see here in a minute, I tried to do a crackle finish and it did not work. I don't know if it's that. See how that wood is very rough and porous? I don't know if that had anything to do with it or if my timing was off. I don't know. But you see, it did not crackle. So I'm just showing you here what I ended up doing. I just painting, it's not a dry brush. It's just not covering the brown completely. And then I go back and scrape off the paint that didn't crackle for me and just repaint it with the brown and then did the same thing. So that's why you see that. It started to crackle in a couple spots, but it for the most part, it just didn't work. It was very strange. So, as you can see, I'm just going around, leaving some of the brown peeking through that, what is this color? Oh, this is that sage. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of what color it was. That's folk art sage green. And I'm going to add a little bit of orange. I'm going to do a couple different colors here. I'm going to add a little bit of orange to sandstone, which is just a tan. And I should have added a little more, but that's okay. We're getting a couple colors in there. And we're just doing the same thing. We're not going to cover it completely. Just here and there. And here it's all done. And I decided there wasn't enough brown showing, so I took some of my folk art Java and I'm just dry brushing that just to darken and distress where the colors are a little bit. So here I'm tearing the edges. I've got it laying on the sign so I can kind of make sure I'm tearing it in the right spot. Just keep lining it up and tearing away a little at a time. Taking my time, pain in the butt, but so now I've already got some Mod Podge down here, and we start at one end, and when we press it down, we don't want to press it down all the way to where the Mod Podge ends, but you want to press it down at the top or bottom, whatever you want to call it. Just try not to press it down too hard because you want to be able to lift it like that without getting a crease in it. So you don't want to press it down, and you want to work kind of quickly when you've got a big piece like this. You've got to do it a little at a time, but you don't want it to dry on you. Then you'll end up with a noticeable crease in the paper sometimes. But this pen plus gear, whatever it is, this Walmart cardstock I bought is just amazing. I haven't had any trouble with it, so including this. So anyway, I was looking on Amazon hoping to find it, but I can't find it on Amazon. It was at Walmart, and it was less than $5 for, I think it was 100 sheets for like $4.57, something like that. So now we're just going to take some antique wax and we're going to just dress him up really good. And I'm on the fence about this one. You'll have to let me know what you think of this guy. And this is just some torn Dollar Tree black fabric. Not really a bow, just kind of represent his raggedy clothes. DIY number 2. Just Call Me Vlad. So I've got this Dollar General plaque here. And my image. I don't know if he really would be Dracula or not, but maybe a modern version of Dracula. But he seems kind of cool. Kind of a cool dude, vampire over here. And we paint the sides and the back with black chalk paint. That's my folk art rich black. And we're going to Mod Podge the front here. Make sure to get Mod Podge down in the grooves. And I was concerned about the cardstock going down in there, but it works beautifully. I love this cardstock paper. I just love it. So I've got it pressed down, and now I'm going to take the end of my paintbrush and find that groove and very gently run it through there and press it down in the grooves. And I was wondering if it was going to work. I thought, oh, I should have printed this on regular paper maybe, but no, didn't have a single issue. Plus it's sturdier. Paper might rip when you're trying to get it down in there, so it worked beautifully. And we're just going to trim off the excess. Let it dry. You don't have to let it dry completely. Just make sure all your edges are down very well and let it sit at least a few minutes. And now we're going to take a sanding block and burnish the edges. Now if you want to Mod Podge this beforehand and let it dry, that will change the texture of the paper, make it come off a little easier. But I'm going to do a clear coat finish instead of a Mod Podge finish. And on your little curves, the areas that are hard to get into with your sponge, an emery board works great. And here I'm just touching up the black paint. And I'm brushing it. It's a small flat brush. And I'm brushing it towards the front. And as long as you don't go crazy and you only use a little bit of paint, you're not going to get paint all over the front. And it'll also blacken the little white edges that are now showing from you burnishing it and touch up your paint. Now we've got some antique wax and another little bitty brush, and we're going to darken the inside of those grooves. You want to be able to see those. And then I'm going to get a bigger brush and of course distress the edges and blend it to, like, those grooves are pretty dark, so you're going to want to kind of blend it together so they're not standing out really ridiculously over here. You know. And basically I distress the entire front, except I stay off his face for the most part. I think I get his forehead a little bit doing his hair, but I was like, I want to keep the face light, because these are dark images before before the distressing. They were already kind of dark, so you want to be able to see. There we go. See, there's some on his forehead, but I kept it off the rest of his face. And I'm even going to take some of that antique wax and stain the jute hanger. Now, if you don't like that look, pop that off and put a different kind of hanger, a little sawtooth hanger on the back or something if you like. And we're just going to keep on distressing until we like how it looks. Get the sides really well. And this guy is done. He is so stinking cool. Love it. DIY number 3. The Mummy. This is one of my all-time favorites here. This one was fun. So this is a thrifted frame, and I'm taking some Mod Podge, and these are some black, really super heavy cloth. That's called cloth-like napkins, and they definitely are. I got this from Ollie's, and I'm going to use that and the Mod Podge to wrap this entire frame in. And when I did this, I wasn't sure what I was going to use it for. But once I got it done, it was saying mummy to me. So I'm like, oh yeah. Even though it was black and not white, it kind of reminded me of the gauze wrap. And you just cut it, or tear it, excuse me, don't cut it. Tear it into strips. And just keep wrapping it around, just overlap it on each other. And it took a little while sitting there watching TV and just sit there and do it. And then I'm just pressing it down, make sure it gets down in all the little grooves. And you want to make sure the back where you would slide your image and your cardboard and normally your glass, I don't put the glass back in this, but make sure that keeps its shape because you're going to need that. So once it's all done, I just put a nice coat of rich black chalk paint on it. And now I'm going to dry brush. I believe this is Deco Art Primitive. It's very similar to sandstone. It's just a tan. And I'm like, yeah, they're looking like mummy here. Now these pieces of wood are from Dollar General and they're sold as kindling, which makes no sense to me. But they're just like they're like long Jenga blocks. And I'm just painting them black on the sides that are going to show, and just building a box on the back of this frame because we need to accommodate the battery pack for those, we've got orange fairy lights. And I just placed them down where I want them to be, figured out where they're going to go. And I've got my Quick and Thick here. And you see that little square block there? I needed that just to fill in. I was going to have a gap, and I don't want any gaps because I don't want the light leaking out. And I left room for the battery pack. See, I've got that in the corner there. I've got my little lights, my little orange lights. So you can use Jenga blocks. You can use like Dollar General. They probably don't have these anymore. These were early summer. They were selling these, and I think I bought them all out of my store. I was like, oh, these would be great for building things up with, and they are. So now my battery pack, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it and make sure that the on and off switch is at the bottom where you can get to it. And also we're going to make sure we can still get to it if you need to change the batteries. And you'll see what I do with that here in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and hot glue that in there. And if they do fail, you can get that off. So here's a piece of poster board. Now I'm going to paint that black before I attach it later. And a little piece of felt. So I'm just going to glue the piece of felt onto the backing and cover up that battery pack. But you can just lift it to get to it. And here's my mummy. He is so cool. And I'm just taking some antique wax. And we're going to distress him a little bit. And again, another picture. It's pretty dark. You don't need a whole lot, but it just adds something to it, even though it's already made to look aged. And I like a dark distress usually, so yeah, he's cool. He's so creepy, but so cool. I just love him. I just love him. I mean, I don't want to bring him home and give him hugs, but he's pretty cool. Those white edges are not going to show. They're going to be behind the frame. But yeah, we want to get some distressing on him there. And I'm only showing the edges here, it looks like. Oh, there we go. And I do just a little bit over top of him. I don't want him to disappear, but I want to age the mummy itself. And this is just foam craft board. And I cut that to fit. Make sure it fits the photo and the frame. And always check, make sure everything fits in that frame. Because after you wrap it and paint it and all that, it's going to get thick. It's going to get tighter. So measure it after you've done everything to it, not before. It's not going to fit. So now I'm going to figure out, I'm going to have to cut a hole in this foam backing. Because if we cover the hole, the entire back of it, the lights aren't going to come through. So I'm going to cut it in the area of the mummy. Now, if you want to try to sit there and get the exact shape of that big crack he's sticking out of, I thought about doing that. And I'm like, you know what? I'll end up having an issue trying to do that. So I end up just cutting out a rectangle that'll be behind the mummy. And I'm laying the picture next to it to see how long I want to cut it. And I just make sure it's straight and cut out a little rectangle with my utility knife. And look at how wide we need it to be. Ain't he cool? Look at him. He's scary. Give me nightmares and stuff. So yeah, figured out where I want the other cut to be. I'm just gonna cut out that rectangle. Thank you guys for being with me today. I really appreciate it. I am having so much fun. My channel's growing, and it's just been amazing. And thanks to your all support, it's been a huge help. So we're just Mod Podging him to our craft foam here. And I wipe off the excess there, but then I got thinking, I'm like, well, let me seal the back of the paper with some Mod Podge too, because I don't want that to just be exposed, without any kind of finish on it. So we hit that with the Mod Podge. And then I took some creepy cloth and I glued it to the front in a couple little spots, and I just used painter's tape to hold it in the back, because once we put it all together, it's not going to go anywhere. And my lights, I made the hoop the size I wanted, and again used painter's tape, Because that stuff, I don't know if you've messed with that, but it's wire and it hops around everywhere and it's flipping and flopping and you're trying to get it. So I decided I was going to tape it before I glued it. Look at him. Ain't he cool? I love it. I'm so crazy about that creepy cloth. I love it. I put it on everything I can. So I'm going to put a little hot glue down, and you want to be careful. You don't want it to be squishing out all over the front of your picture. So I'm going to do this side first because I've got to slide it under that battery pack and get it lined up in there. Make sure it fits everywhere else. And press that down. And we're just going to go around. And I've got the tip of that glue gun all the way up in the crevice, in where it the crease or whatever you want to call it, the angle is, without putting too much and keeping it off the edge as best as I can so it's not oozing out of there. So then I'm going to put some more hot glue along that edge, and then I'm also going to add one of these jumbo craft sticks. These came from Walmart. These come in handy too. And then my lights here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a spot of hot glue underneath. Everywhere I taped it is where I glue it. And I'm going to put a spot of glue underneath each one, and then I go back and put glue over top. Once I started doing it, I'm like, well, let's go ahead and put it across the top also. So there you go. You see there's glue underneath and over top of it. And then we're going to go on the other side here. Add some hot glue. And another craft stick. Just to give it a little more support. Press that together really well. And then the bottom and top, I'm just adding some extra hot glue just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. Now I've got my poster board painted black, and once I glue that down and glue the felt on there, this project is complete. Check him out. He's so awesome. Wait till you see him with the lights off here in a minute. Here's old Frank. Yeah, let me know what you think of old Frank. He's pretty cool, I guess. And here's Vlad. He is so cool. Expression on his face. I added the ribbon to the top. I just tied it to the jute. I'm not quite sure about it, but it's only tied there. It's not permanent. And here is the mummy. Wait for it. Wait for it. He's so cool. Thank you guys again for being here. Don't forget to like and share and all the things. I'll see you next time. Bye.